Hey guys, rolling, nice, rolling. September 20th today, we just finished up our service about half an hour ago or so, and had a great time. It was nice to see some familiar faces that we haven't seen in a while come out. But the service was predominantly our kind of prayer, worship, sharing time. And one of the flows, the kind of flow of how things went, to me was really interesting and kind of reflective maybe of something deeper, which is that we started out singing Good, Good Father, and then a song about the greatness of God, and then a song about the mercy of God. And it was interesting how those features of God and who God is to us and how God views us all work together. God's goodness and God's greatness and God's mercy. And out of that, we prayed for healing for someone. We talked about some things. Someone shared just about the desire, the passion that they're feeling lately to have more of God, feeling a stirring and a fire to have more of God. And so that's great. We prayed along those lines as well to kind of catch that thing. Our discussion time, as we've been talking about discipleship, was a little bit shorter this week, but one of the things that we did talk about is a pretty, I don't know if I should use the word common, but a cycle that I think that we can often go through. It's a cycle that's reflected in Scripture, and it's a cycle that I think we've probably all experienced, not just in our spiritual lives and our relationship with God, but in our lives generally. And the cycle is this, that we can start out in a place of orientation. These are using categories and a kind of model developed by Walter Brueggemann. We can start out in this place of orientation where we have a grounding, things make sense, we see things through a certain kind of lens. And certainly that is the case with our relationship with God. God is someone to us, and we have a certain kind of way of relating to God and certain understanding of God and so on. And then something can happen that knocks us out of that place of orientation to a place of disorientation, where some of the things that we've assumed before maybe show themselves to be assumptions. Maybe we thought that they were just solid things that we knew, and then we're like, I don't know if I know that in the same way. And so we see this in places like the Psalms, where it talks about, and it's like, God, where have you gone? God, how long until you return? And so on. There's a real kind of like unpleasantness in that place of disorientation. George Barna, in his development of as how we mature as disciples, says we'll often come to a place of holy discontentment, where what we had in God isn't enough anymore, where we're just wondering, isn't there more? Isn't there more to my spiritual life? Isn't there more to my relationship with God? And the place that actually spurs us to growth is to actually come into a place of brokenness from that. And that is the place of what Brueggemann calls disorientation, where things don't make sense in the way that they used to. And from there, we can come to another season of orientation or reorientation, where we're not in the same place that we were, but we're also not disoriented in the same way that we were. And so we talked a little bit about those things, and I think one of the keys for us is to be aware, perhaps, of the season that God has us in, but then to not resist God in the season that we're in. In other words, God can do things, and I think wants to do things in us and with us in the seasons of orientation, the seasons of disorientation, and the seasons of reorientation. Often we just want to be in a happy place. We want to just live every day of our life on the mountaintop. But life has peaks and valleys, and God can show us as much in the valleys as he does on the mountaintops. So as we talk about how we apply these kinds of things, how we grow in our fellowship of God, someone had the suggestion, we've been talking about spiritual practices and different things that we can do, different things that people have found helpful over the past few weeks. But someone suggested this week to just take time and ask God, what are the things that you want me to put into place in my life? God, what are the things that you want me to develop? How, Lord, do you want to connect with me? And just starting this week from that place as we look to apply these things and work practices and habits into our lives so that we would grow in the image and likeness of Christ. So that's it. Hopefully what I just said made sense. I'm going to open up the registration for next week's service. If you haven't been yet, feel free to sign up, come on and join with what's been happening here. It'd be great to see you. And if you're unable to join, I'll keep posting these little recap videos. Hopefully you can stay connected in that way. All right, guys. Bless you. Bye-bye.